Hi, in this video, I have come up with a topic sales forecast. How we can predict the sales with the help of growth method and regression method. We are going to use this method in Excel. We can easily use this method in Excel because Excel is already programmed with the equation. You just apply the formula and you will get the results. And we have to know why we are predicting sales in future. See, sales may be depend on various factors. It may differ in various companies. Maybe the sales may depend on the marketing or advertisement, or it may depend on the customer behavior. We may not know, but the management has to decide are the sales or depending on what factors they need to check. That is the first case, and second case, where their sales remain stable, which means the market conditions remain stable and the product life cycle of the product remains stable. If in these conditions, you can go with growth method and regression method. I have taken this assumption based on the two assumptions. One is the market conditions remain stable and the product life cycle remains healthy and there is no stoppage in production. If all these conditions satisfied, then you can proceed with growth method and regression method. It is very simple. Yeah, if you do mathematically by your hand, it may you may feel difficult, but we are Excel, no, which is we are with the help of Excel, it will be very easy. Okay, let's get into the topic. In growth method, we have two approaches: applying constant growth method, and another approach is based on the past data. You are taking the average growth rate. Let's understand with an example. In a constant growth method, the sales will be predicted at growing at 10% every year. Okay, so for the year, they have taken the past year sales, which is 10 lakh, and the growth rate is 10%. Yeah, in this case, I am taking a constant growth rate is 10%, which means every year my sale is rising by 10 percentage. For example, for the 11 lakh plus 10%, you will get 12 lakh and 10,000. On the 12 lakh and 10,000 plus 10 percentage, you will get 13 lakh and 31,000. Likewise, every year I'm assuming my sales will go up by 10 percentage. So the 10% will be fixed. So that is why the name itself, it is constant. Here it is average growth rate, which means I'm not taking the constant growth rate. I'm checking for the past 5 years, what is my growth rate. So here for the year 2020, the sales is 5 lakh 60. For the year 2021, the sale is 6 lakh. Then for the how much the sale is rise, 6 lakh minus 5 lakh and 60,000 divided by 5 lakh and 60, it comes 7 percentage. Likewise, for every past years, for the every year, how much my sale is rising. Based on that, I will take the average. So I will clearly explain another time. For the year 2022, the sales is 6 lakh and 54,000. For the year 2021, it is 6 lakh. Then how much my sale is raised? 6 lakh and 54,000 minus 6 lakh divided by 6 lakh into 100. It gives me 9 percentage. So for likewise, I am for every year I'm checking. So for the 2021, it is 7% is rise. For the 2022, it is 9% rise. So for the last 5 years, I'm taking the growth rate, I'm taking average on it. Here it comes, which is 11 percentage. After I get the average growth rate, I'm estimating for the future 5 year sales value will be raised by 11 percentage. Here I have used a formula for the B21 here, which is 9,35,000 is my last 2025, which is my last year. I am getting the sale value is 9,35,010 rupees. I am estimating my growth rate on an average will be raised by 11 percentage. Based on the past year sales, I am getting the average growth rate. So the 11%, I am fixed the 11% as average growth rate. I am estimating my sales will rise by 11% for the future 5 years. So here I'm taking it as an average. So the actual sales value will be different. These all are my estimations. For the future period, I'm estimating the sales can be raised by average of 11 percentage. But the actual sales value will vary. But the management, if believes my market range will be will remain same, but my sales will grow up at the average growth rate of 11%, then we can use this method. So here the 9,35,010 plus 11 percentage, you will get this. And here let's see, this is I just given this example in Excel, you can see it. So B24, here B24 is 10,37,861 plus 11%, you will get this. So that is about the average growth rate method. Let's get into regression analysis. You need to understand why the regression method we are using in sales forecast. Basically, if you want to find the relationship between two or more variables, then you can go with regression method. Okay, I will give you a simple example. If a management believes if I spend more on advertisement, my sales will go up. Okay, so which means if I spend more on advertisement, it will reach more customers, so I can sell my products and my sales will go up. This is the condition we have. So here my sales is dependent on the expenditure we make on advertisement, so the sales is dependent on the advertisement. So here there is one variable is dependent, another variable is independent. So sale is dependent, advertisement is independent. I am taking y will always be dependent variable. You take which is dependent in your scenario. If the sales is dependent, then you take it y as a sales, and what is independent here, x. So which means advertisement or marketing, all other factors, whichever the sale is dependent on any factor, such factor will be independent. So I am taking x as an independent variable. I will clearly explain you in another example. In this example, you can clearly understand why we are using regression method in an forecast. How we can fix salary to an employee? So the salary is dependent variable and the skills, experience, educational qualification, locality is independent variable. What do you mean by this? See, the salary will be determined based on the skills we have, the experience, educational qualification, and where we get hired. Based on the locality, the salary will be determined. Do you agree with me? So it means the salary is dependent variable and all these skills, experience, education qualification, locality will be independent variable. You need to identify which factor is dependent and what other factors are independent. If you find out this dependent and independent variable, then you can apply this formula. Y is equal to a plus bx. Here the y is dependent variable and x is independent variable, which means based on the skills, experience I have and the education qualification or the locality I get hired, based on these x factors, my salary y will be determined. So here the y is dependent, which is y is salary, and x is the skills and experience, which is independent variable. Then what is a and b? A is constant. Let's say rupees 20,000 is fixed as basic pay, which means if you have a degree, if you have a degree, the market as per the market conditions, you can easily earn rupees 20,000 as a basic pay. I'm just taking it as an example. So which means 20,000 will be constant. Wherever you get hired, 20,000 will be your fixed basic pay. So if you have a constant figure, then you take it as a. Then what is B? B is the average change in salary with respect to S. For every changes we have in X, then what will be the changes we can get in Y. So B is, we can call it as a slope, which is nothing but average change in salary with respect to x variable decided by the market. The x variable will be, in this case, the based on the skills and experience, what is the salary we can fix will be decided by the market. So the based on that x variable, how much change I can get in a y. So this we call it as a slope, and slope we name it as a b. I hope you understand this formula. We can easily apply this formula in an Excel. You no need to. You just have to understand what is y, a, b, and x. That's it. So we are using this formula in an Excel. Excel is already programmed with this equation. It can easily solve the equation. You just need to understand how we can use a formula in an Excel. Let's see it in another slide. Let's use this regression method for sales forecast and finding out the relationship between the year and sales, which means I'm taking two variables here. the sales and the time. Between the sales and time, I'm seeing the relationship between these two variables. So my sales is dependent variable, and here the time or the year will be independent variable. I'm taking the two assumptions here. The market conditions remain stable and the product life cycle remains healthy. I'm using this in formula y is equal to a plus bx. Here the y means sales and a is means, I told you a is a constant figure, which means if the x is 0, the value of y, what is the value of y? Even there is a no, the even the year is 0. Okay, what will, how much the minimum sales I can make? Okay, so this is where we call it as a is a constant figure. And what is b? It means a slope, the rate of change, how much y will increase or decrease for every unit you increase in x. For every 1 unit increase in x, how it will impact y. So this will be measured in b. And here the x is, I told you, x means independent variable. Here the independent variable is years. Let's see how to use this forecast in Excel. This is how it will look. Okay, so for the past 5 years, this is the past years, they have given you the sales, and it is very important you need to take the year number, which means the year number is nothing but, I have in this example y is equal to a plus b x. Here the x is years and y is sales, right? So I'm taking x as a number, a year number. So for the 2021 I'm taking 1, 2022 I'm taking 2, likewise 3, 4, 5. And for the future years also I'm following the number 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so this is very important. You need to fix the year number, you need to give a figure, because we cannot take the whole year as a x. So I'm taking it as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as a x. So for the y is equal to a plus bx, for the x variable you need to have the year number, because based on the year number the sales are determined, right? So for the past 5 years, the year number is given and the sales is given. Then how we can forecast for the next 5 years? So here I have given you the formula is equal to, here for the next, for the year 2026, what is the formula we have? Forecast dot linear. Just apply this forecast dot linear, then open bracket b12. B12, here the year number is, which is x figure, so 6, comma, the why we are having the dollars in between, because this is fixed, the C5 to C9 here, which is dollars here, and B5 to B9 we having dollars in between, which means it is fixed. For the next 5 years I'm taking this last 5 years as a fixed figures. If it is you're using a fixed figures in Excel, we have to use a dollars in between. Okay, so and the B12, so here for the determining 2026 year of sales, I'm taking B12 as a x figure. So here the B12 is 6, I'm taking it as a B12 for the x figure. I'm determining the, as by using this formula I'm determining the sales for the year 2026. For the year 2027, the in this formula all these figures will be fixed, but you need to change as a B13. Okay, because for the x factor will be the, here the x factor for the 2027 is 7, so just apply B13 here. Okay, and for the next year 2028 apply B14. Okay, likewise you need to change the x figure for the every sales you want to determine. Just change the x variable, and you can easily forecast the sales for the next 5 years. Just use this formula and create a chart for the better understanding. In this chart, it is about the sales forecast based on the two methods we have studied so far, which is growth method and regression method. The red line is a growth method and green is regression. Why I am taking two methods here? Because it is safe if you have followed two methods, and we can take what is average between these two and to have a basic assumption of how much sales I can make for the next 5 years. So basically for any management, they will check, they will take two methods for the sales forecasting purpose, and when you show it in a chart, it is easily understandable. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you have a clear idea of how to make a forecast on sales based on growth method and regression method. If you find this video useful for you, then please like and share and subscribe Success Ledger, where we master finance and achieve success. Thank you for watching.